Hey guys, welcome to this live stream, wherever you're coming in from. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Very nice to see you all. As you come in, please drop a hello. Let us know where you're coming in from, and I'll flash that up on screen. Coach Stephen, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, tickety-boo. Had a nice trip out to Spain last week to do, a speech out there. Managed to get a couple of days off. Here I am back in England, and it's even a nice day here, even
Oh,
though it's
wow.
the 5th of December. But Malaga, I've got to say, their Christmas lights. The week before, we'd been to Regent Street to see the Christmas lights there, and Britain should hang its head in shame because Malaga showed us how to do Christmas celebrations because it was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Oh,
Anyway,
nice. So you went to Malaga. I went
mhm.
down to the bus stop this week. That's about the extent of It's so exciting.
Well, we've got
Wow.
some nice messages. South Africa,
South Africa,
Australia,
Australia. Wow.
and Phil Greeley just saying good morning, all. I don't know where
Yeah.
Phil's from actually.
Yeah. Where are you coming from, Phil? Yeah, so thank you all very much for joining us. Just while we kind of getting more people in. Um, Hey,
Wow.
Coach Juliet, how you doing? Wow, 4:30. So if you have any questions for us, please put a Q in front of it in the comment, and I'll get to it. I'll star all the ones with the Qs, and we'll get through them. Especially as well, if you've got anything you want us to discuss, and it's not actually a question, still put a Q in front of it, and that'll mean I won't miss them.
Hmm.
And what else? Oh, yeah. And really importantly, whoever's channel you're watching on, please smash the like button, because the more likes we get on the live stream, the more chance YouTube pushes it out more, and we get more people in, better discussion. Yeah. Um, from Lancashire, okay, Staten Island, New York, Cincinnati, Ohio, Oh, Finland, how you doing? Ah, Elvira, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. And Derek's here. Sylvie from Germany. Okay, good morning. And we got a question already.
Mm.
Um, can you talk about 12-8 a bit?
Intermittent fasting.
Oh,
Fasting. Yeah.
okay. Well, let's go. December 8?
I
What
think
happened on what's happening on December 8?
I'm assuming, but that doesn't add up to 24. So what is
Oh,
12? What is 12/8? I'm
yeah.
assuming it's that.
Um, yeah.
Coach Juliet, I know it's 4:30 in the morning where you are, but could you just confirm what the question is?
Yeah. And Coach Juliet has gently touched the like button. She hasn't smashed. I hope smashing is okay.
Oh,
Okay. Oh,
the documentary that's happening or being
no,
filmed. Right, I got it.
What? Oh, the BBC.
Yeah, the bit.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you don't know about this. So, myself, Lee Copus, Stephanie Taylor, Carl Day are all doing a mini meetup, and the BBC are running a sort of health series, half hour, 6 half-hour things, and they're talking about the carnivore diet in one, and that's what's being filmed on Monday, the 8th of December.
Right. Yeah, so you talked a bit about it last time, but I didn't realize it was being done as part of a meetup. So that's really cool.
Well, we did the meetup to satisfy, the filming what they wanted. They wanted something like that, so we just put one together. The great news is Robert Kiltz is flying over to be part of it as well. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
just wanted
Oh,
to be
very nice.
supportive.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
that's really.
it's the BBC, so we're going to be stitched up. We know that. And there's no right to reply because they've got two doctors will be watching the footage and then commenting, but we won't be part of that. So
Right.
I'm thinking that it's good that people with their eyes open to the fact that the BBC will not be fair and unbiased. We're going in knowing that it's probably going to be a piece where they would belittle all the real experiences of everybody. All these wonderful. You've done nearly 1,500 interviews, success stories, and they won't even consider that. That's how I see it. But I'm going with my eyes open because, as I said to Lee Copus, the Kent Carnivore, I'd rather us do it with our mindset than other people who think, oh, it's going to be great. We're going to get some good exposure, because that isn't the case. But I think it's going to be really interesting.
But it's not. Is it actually structured as an interview, or they're just observing you talking, or?
Well, they've spoken to us sort of like via Zoom, just as to get to know us a bit.
Right.
But the director's coming down. He's going to do some interviews. He's going to hear some feedback, film some talks, and then they'll put that together with a clear and balanced narrative about the carnivore and the success stories. So we'll see.
I actually watched a Stitch Up interview. I was involved in kind of. I was on the non-media side of a Stitch Up interview one time.
Oh,
and I was told by one of the media people how to know whether an interview is going to be a Stitch Up or not.
Go on then.
If they bring multiple cameras,
it's
probably a Stitch Up.
All right.
Bear in mind, this was 29 years ago, but because if they bring multiple cameras, that means they're assuming they're not going to have time to film what they call noddies, which is filming the interviewer doing this, right? Because they think once the questions have been asked, you'll get to the point where you'll kick them out, so they won't have time to film that. So they have two cameras there, so they're getting the noddies during the interview part. But again, that's 26 years ago, so yeah. Okay, so question from Steve Foster. Are morning leg cramps due to magnesium deficiency?
Okay. Morning leg cramps can be due to that. That's possible. Could be down to the ratios between magnesium and calcium. Could be that. It could be what you did the day before. So it could simply be tired muscles from the day before. Tendons shortening a little bit as you age. So you've got to make sure that you keep active. So motion is lotion. But it could also be how you slept. So sometimes your position can be, problematic. But the most common one is dehydration and an electrolyte imbalance in general. So some people drink too much water. In fact, I've done 2 consults already this morning. The first one, absolutely drinking too much water, 3 liters a day, you just don't need. And hydration isn't about drinking water. It's about electrolytes. So you'd need salt with that. Just drinking water does not work osmotically. It just doesn't. You need this salt to get that osmosis working, to get the fluid into the cell. So if you're drinking 3 liters, and especially if your urine is clear, you're just drinking too much water, and possibly you're going to deplete yourself of electrolytes. So that would be the biggest thing I would look at. There would be other things as well, like nerve compression. But in the end, normally it is down to electrolyte imbalance and drinking too much water, and conversely not drinking any and being dehydrated. So
so I'm going to bring this one up, but I'm not going to I'm going to change one of the words so YouTube doesn't get annoyed. So Anna's saying, in Australia they have released a warning about SI in people taking GLP-1s. Thoughts? Yeah, I saw someone post about that on Twitter, and I was like, wow, it's already started. I mean, how long is it going to be before? I think the class action lawsuits have started already, but how long is it before it gets out of control?
Mm. Yeah, well, GLP-1s are an awful medication, absolutely awful, and I don't see any reason to take them. I think Dr. Apps once said that the only time he's ever felt they were justified with the only other thing that was going to happen to the person was they were going to die. So I get that there are extreme reasons with extreme obesity, but yes, I mean one of the methods that medication, works by is changing your pleasure receptors. Your response to things like food. So you sort of can take it or leave it. But the problem is also you get to the point where you don't like anything. So if you were a sort of enthusiastic squash player, you lose that enthusiasm because this medication, one of the things it does is it squashes your sort of dopamine receptors or your dopamine.
So, suddenly not so excited about collecting stamps anymore.
Is that a comment or you just saying that?
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yes. My uncle used to collect stamps, and I was genuinely quite excited when he said, "I've got a penny red and a penny black." I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's pretty good." Anyway, that's many years ago. But yes, you get, you don't really enjoy the food so much, so therefore you don't crave it. So yeah, that sounds really good, doesn't it? But if everything else doesn't float your boat so much, that doesn't sound good. So yes, what we're talking about there is it can go really far and you can feel like you want to give up on life completely. Absolutely, that is a real thing. Ozempic face is another one, because you don't just lose body fat, you lose muscle, you lose bone. So there are celebrities, where you can't recognize them because their face has changed, because you lose muscle on your face, and that obviously changes how your face looks. So yeah, lots of negatives to do with it.
Speaking of the changes in the face, over the last year or so, there's been a lot of stuff in the news about how Sharon Osbourne has kind of really got thin, right? But the other day, I saw Kelly Osbourne doing a speech about something, and she's gone the same way. She hasn't got that roundness in her face anymore. It's just like angled. It's like you kind of just lose the shape, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you lose. I think the body weight as a percentage, when you lose some body weight, I think 30% of it is bone and muscle. I think it's quite high.
Wow.
It's quite a big percentage. And I'm 61. At my age, I don't want to be losing muscle and bone. But at any age, you really don't want to do that. But certainly as you get older, it's more difficult to put the muscle back on.
Right.
I constantly struggle with that because I'm training, and I find it very hard to. Well, I'm not lean because it's very difficult to be lean and gain muscle. So anyway.
Yeah.
But going back to the question, yeah, that's my thoughts. I mean, yes, the warning won't do much, will it? That's the problem. The Australian government might be doing a warning about the medication, but people want to be thin.
The end of the day, it's a psychological thing of wanting a button to push to lose the weight, right? And so it's like you might have these problems, and they're like, yeah, but it's just like pushing a button, and I'm going to fit into that nice dress on the weekend or whatever, or that I'm finally going to be able to put my belt on properly or whatever it is,
Yes.
Yeah. So FX Trader, do you need to drink electrolytes on the carnivore diet? Some people need them, but other people don't. What is your opinion? I don't seem to need them anymore.
Yeah, I think the answer is in that question. There are so many variables there, but yeah, some people seem to need them, some people don't. If you go deeper, why is that happening? Because firstly, the quality of the soil is very different to what it used to be. So the the minerals are not in the soil, so therefore not being eaten by the animals or, even taken up by the plants. So there does seem to be a lower level of electrolytes available in the soil. I think most people would actually appreciate and understand that that is definitely happening. So that sort of explains why most people may have a shortage of electrolytes, but whereas other people might not, because the quality of the food or the way they're living, do they sweat a lot? Are they drinking too much water or not? There is so much to this. I don't take
drinking
electrolytes.
coffee could be a big one, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, anything that artificially makes you excrete, fluid from your body. So, yeah, definitely. Drinking too much is always the biggest culprit. Drinking too much water. If your urine is clear, all this stuff about 8 glasses of water a day, 2 litres, 3 litres of water a day, it's such rubbish. Because the cell, between cells, there's always like membranes, and some of them are semi-permeable, some of them, if you need salt, because what's happening is salt equalizes. So if you've got a lot of salt in one area, extracellular space, and you need it inside, then it uses like a diffusion sort of method, which is osmosis basically. So you need to have all of these minerals in your body to be able to get your balance right. But some people do really well without them. I occasionally have a little bit of salty water, but very rarely. I salt my food. So, 4/5 of all the electrolytes we talk about, really salt is 4/5 of a priority, or 80% of the priority is salt. And how your kidney is functioning, if you've got hyperfiltration or average filtration or subpar, that will make a difference as well. Your blood pressure will make a difference. So there's just many things that you need to look at. And I think if you don't chase the number for the blood pressure. 120/80 isn't ideal. That's just a 21-year-old athletic male. I don't think that my blood pressure would need to be exactly the same, because I'm 61, I'm not 21, and my arteries are going to be a little bit stiffer, so my blood pressure probably needs to be a little bit higher than that. So it's all about understanding that the numbers you're given, you don't have to chase those numbers all the time. Just eat this way, and if you feel suboptimal and you try a little bit of salt, like 1/4 teaspoon of salt in a small glass of water like this, and you just sip it, you'll probably be fine. If you got a bit of a headache, normally that's what I recommend. 20 minutes later after having that headache is gone, which sort of indicated maybe it was a little bit of a fluid imbalance. But yeah, it's very individual, as the question says, very, very individual.
Right. Whoops, that just jumped around. Okay, here we go. Question or comment for Coach Stephen. Highly encourage you, from Phil, highly encourage you to make your own audio recording, at least for a BBC thing, surreptitiously if you need to. See VCDL versus Couric about 10 years ago. We'll explain more if you like. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree. If we can record it ourselves, that would be good. And also, it's a red flag if we're not allowed to. But yes,
yeah. If you say, "Can I record this?" and they say no, it's like, why? You're recording. Okay. And another comment on that from Brad's Biscuit. It's mainstream media. It would be a hit piece at the end of the day. They'll listen to you talk about thousands of anecdotes, then bring up colon cancer.
Yep.
Yeah. And see, this is the problem with the way they do stuff like this, because they know as soon as they say colon cancer, the average person just goes to, yeah, that's right, my doctor told me red meat causes colon cancer, or that's what I saw on that morning TV show, or whatever, and then it's like, oh yeah, the interviewer's right. Yeah,
it's going to be that. I mean, it's absolutely. I mean, today I've written a Substack about the Global Energy Balance Network, which is a real thing set up by Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, and the American Beverage Association, and its job was to influence studies, and it literally got revealed. Emails were revealed that they were just saying to scientists, "You need to shift the balance to exercise and not sugar." I've got a quote. Let me just get it up. It's
Ah.
so internal emails revealed that Coca-Cola executives were explicitly trying to, and this is what it actually said in one of the emails, divert attention from the contribution of sugar-sweetened beverages to obesity. Instead, blame inadequate exercise. Actually, a directive to the researchers. One email from the Coca-Cola's VP, Rona Applebaum, instructed researchers to focus on energy balance rather than sugar. She wrote about needing to get ahead of this in order to lose focus on sugar and focus on energy balance. This is when sugar-sweetened beverages were being blamed for obesity. So when you looked at 26 of their funded studies, 100% of them cleared soda. So, yes, you're right. They will talk about colon cancer, but you need to look at the vested interests. Interestingly, if you look at then independent studies on that, and this is all in my Substack, 33 out of 34 studies that looked at this issue linked sugar-sweetened beverages directly to obesity. So, they bring up colon cancer, and they will do exactly what you said, Dave, and they will talk about red meat is allegedly causing colon cancer, but it's ridiculous science. It's not even science. You can't actually, from associative data, do any cause and effect science. But I tell you what, my mum died of colon cancer, and she followed the food guidelines. She avoided red meat and saturated fat, and she got colon cancer. And the more fiber they chucked into her, the worse she got until she died. So,
see, part of the problem with these studies, right? And you can't, as you say, you can't draw anything from them, right? Because there's no control, But the trouble with them is they make headlines, and the average person just reads the headlines, regardless whether it's got the words associated with, linked to, may cause, or anything like that in there. The average person doesn't care. It's a headline, and the words are colon cancer, red meat. So that's what I'm going to run with. That's my narrative, internal narrative.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's frightening, really, isn't it?
From Hugh Jennings, guys, just letting you know, 6 weeks on carnivore. Oh, I've just realized what that meant. Guys, just letting you know, 6 weeks on carnivore, 90% of the pain from inflammation is gone. Nice work. Headache's gone. Back pain gone. Sugar cravings gone. Down from 3 diabetes medications to 1. This works. Good job, Hugh. Nice work.
Hugh Janus. Yes, that's great. Now that's a prank that's actually funny. That's a nice online joke there. Yeah. It does work, doesn't it? 95% of pain from inflammation gone, headaches gone, back pain gone, sugar cravings gone. Yes. Excellent. Nice. Well done, Hugh.
Nice work, Hugh. I needed that laugh. Thank you. Okay, from Daniel. This is my first winter carnivore, and I feel cold in the afternoon now. I generally eat about 2 to 3 pounds of ribeye a day between 6 to 8 p.m. Any thoughts? Thanks.
Maybe eat in the morning a little bit. If you're eating 1 meal a day, between 6 and 8, fine. But if you're cold in the afternoon, that's implying that you need to have a little bit of food before that. Simple, really. Because that's going to have an effect on your body temperature.
Right. Yeah. Could just when I hear feeling cold, I think about thyroid. If you're doing like intermittent fasting or anything like that long term, like if you're only having 1 meal a day or something like that, can that interfere with the thyroid at all?
Oh, absolutely. So the thyroid, you have the functional units of the thyroid can store up to 50 days worth of thyroid hormone. But obviously you need the raw materials to do that. And the raw materials are amino acids and iodine. If you're not getting enough iodine in your diet, then you can't make enough thyroid hormone. And the thyroid is the master regulator of your metabolic rate. It does what's called futile metabolic processing, which is it builds up and it also breaks down, and they level out. And you need raw materials to produce the T3 and the T4. So if you're eating just ribeyes at one point of the day, I don't know what your history is, but there could be in the background a little bit of low production of T3. That could happen, definitely. And many people say about the fats, you need more fats. Well, actually, fats are not involved in thyroid production at all, rather than giving you the energy to make those things. So to actually physically make thyroid hormone, you just need protein. Tyrosine is one of those things, iodine. In fact, thyroid hormone is the only hormone so there's peptide hormones and there's steroid hormones, and then there's thyroid hormones. Thyroid hormones are very different because they are long strings of tyrosine and thyroglobulin, which are proteins, and it's the only hormone in the body that has a mineral from outside, from the Earth's crust, by the way, which is iodine, essential to its construction. And if you don't get enough iodine, you're not going to make enough thyroid hormone, and then you will definitely have a problem with, making thyroid hormone and also regulating your metabolic rate, which is what it is, because T3 will generate gluconeogenesis, but it also creates the breakdown of glucose as well. So it breaks down glycogen and all that sort of stuff, and it just weighs it up, and it makes lots of sodium potassium pumps, which makes more need for ATP, and that's how it keeps you warm, and that's how it keeps your metabolic rate going. So yes, if you're feeling cold in the winter, it could be a little bit of low thyroid, but sometimes it's just simply under eating. You just need a little bit more fuel for the fire, and that's what I would try. If someone's eating 1 meal a day and they're eating in the afternoon, late in the evening, but feeling cold in the afternoon, I would probably put a meal a little bit sooner, some, small amount of food, and maybe fish, if it is an iodine thing, sort of cross off 2 possibilities in one go, kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Take a can of sardines or something.
Yeah, or some salmon. I just had some cold salmon from yesterday. I did surf and turf, and we couldn't eat the whole amount. Eyes bigger than your belly, as I say. And I just had some cold salmon. It was absolutely gorgeous, straight from the fridge.
Oh, nice. Okie dokie. From Phil. Can you address sugar addiction and dopamine pathway excitation versus the enjoyment and satisfaction of eating meat and fat? Why the apparent difference, if I'm getting my confusion across?
Yeah, well, yes. Addictive substances and just enjoying things are a little bit different. Absolutely right. So when you look at functional MRIs of brain activity when someone is addicted to a certain thing, like sugar or smoking or alcohol, and this is really very basic, and it also explains why you need more and more of certain things and not of others. There's a huge hit. There's a very big spike in excitation from, say, a cigarette, and the synapses. So in the brain, you've got post and preganglion nerves. So what happens is you get the signal coming in, and then you've got a receiver, and there's a receptor there. So the signal comes in that you've had a cigarette, and these receivers take that, and off it goes. And it's like, oh, that's good. That's really good. But what happens is these receivers, in fact, this is what they see in the functional MRIs, is they realize that what you've just done is actually not good for your health in a way. And these receptors, they shorten and get less abundant. So when you smoke the next time, there's less reception. So you need more cigarettes because there's less reception from what's happening. And this keeps going on and on. So why someone might have 1 cigarette, then they suddenly need 2, and then they need 3, and then they need 4. And it goes on and on and on. And that's the same with sugar. You get this, sorry, I'm just a little bit off put by Dave playing with his headphones. You get this excitation, as you say, and you just have to keep feeding more and more of it to feed it. Now, when you have something like meat, that isn't happening because it isn't, firstly, that big spike in the beginning. It's quite low level, and it takes a long time for you to. It's slow release excitation, I suppose. Now, why is that even in the mix anyway? So if you go back to evolution, when we used to have to kill animals, that's quite scary. So you have to have a reward, not just the fact that you get nutrition and you live, which is sort of in of itself a good reward, you also have to have something that you like about it as well. This is really, really basic. So to justify hunting down an animal that could damage you, you have to have a little bit of that reward pathway going on, even just to catch something. And this is where all the things that people say are bad are actually good, and they make total sense. Like anxiety, you need anxiety to make you make decisions. It's just chronically elevated anxiety, which is bad for you. So anxiety is a thing that we actually need. Otherwise, we wouldn't decide to do anything. We would do nothing. It's the decision-making process. And when things, the risk and reward thing as well is another. So humans traveling across the world, trying to find better locations. Why did they do that? Well, because there was a little bit of anxiety about, oh, well, last year, there wasn't enough fish in the sea, or there's not enough animals. So we go and see if maybe there's more, but you don't know. Those people didn't know what they would encounter. So it is a really big subject, Phil. And sorry, I haven't done it. I haven't probably done it justice. But yeah, there are certain things that just spike the excitation, and that because it's so intense, the body doesn't like that intensity. When people are adrenaline junkies, that's dangerous. Because you end up doing things that end up getting you killed. That's too much. So the body has this inbuilt, sensible, homeostatic sort of regulation of what's good and what's bad. So, but cigarettes are man-made, processed. In the old days, the I think it was Camel cigarettes used to spray the tobacco with sugar to make the cigarettes even more addictive, and that's too much. So it's a bit like refined carbohydrates compared to, a carb that isn't refined. Refined carbohydrates are super quick to be absorbed, super big spike of insulin, and the body deals with it because it's quite a stressful situation. So you've got to look at what it is that you're putting into your body, how big that thrill is, and whether the brain is perceiving that as, wow, this is so good, I'm going to keep doing it. But it tries to protect you from being an idiot and doing it too much. Whereas food doesn't have that effect on you, but you still need to enjoy your food. And this is a big thing about carnivore. Yes, food is nutrition. It is meant to keep you alive. But I definitely believe that we need to have a little bit of enjoyment as well. I enjoy my food, and I don't eat for enjoyment. I eat what I eat for my health, but I happen to also enjoy it. And I think, big juicy steak is just a sort of a low level pleasure. I don't eat a steak and run around going, whoa, hey, and I'm not all shaky and stuff, so.
You're not doing head spins.
Yeah, I'm not doing head spins, but it's still enjoyable. I mean, I really look forward to it. That salmon, when I just mentioned that recall of how lovely that was will make me want to eat salmon again. Which is a good thing, isn't it? You need that drive. Again, if you go back to what is the purpose of what we do as humans, there's always a logical reason for it. Jerry Seinfeld does a great sort of piece about how stupid humans can be. We do a sport that can damage our head. So instead of stopping doing the sport, we wear a helmet. So we've got the brains to try to sort of navigate these things, but in the end, just try and think of the common sense. I'm glad I'm making you laugh today. Or are you still thinking of huge Janus?
Well, that too, because I've seen people commenting about it, but also just you mentioning the Seinfeld thing with the helmet. It reminded me of another joke he's got similar to that with about a helmet and skydiving. Yeah, it was something like, why are you wearing a helmet when you go skydiving? It's not really protection. I've got news for you. The helmet's wearing you as protection.
Yes.
Okay, Steve Foster. I'm struggling to give up coffee and am currently trying to make do with decaf. Is there any worthwhile difference? And if not, do you have any tips on how to get rid of it altogether?
Yeah, I do actually. And can I just give a shout out to Carnivore Muscle, who's a huge supporter of everyone's channel. So Jonathan's in the room. If you haven't checked out Carnivore Muscle, you really need to do that.
G'day, Jonathan. How you doing?
Yep.
Yeah. And also Dustin's in the house too. G'day, Dustin.
Okay. Keto simple. Go back to
yeah.
that question. What was that question? About coffee. Steve
Coffee.
Foster, wasn't it? Yeah. Steve Foster. Right. Well, I gave up coffee and I did it for acrylamides. They build up and can cause you joint pain. So is there any worthwhile difference? To answer that, but yes, there is. Anthony Chaffee often talks about giving up coffee because he believed that they gave you joint pain. And up until age 59, 60, I was drinking a lot of Swiss water decaf and not having joint pain. And that worked until it didn't. I started to get joint pain. I was playing five-a-side football, coming back, and I started to get knee pain and joint pain. And even my boots felt like they were too small for me. So I thought, well, I'll try this little experiment. And I did this coincidentally at the same time as Richard Smith gave up coffee. It was just pure sort of coincidence. And I had fallen into the trap of thinking these joint pains, my legs hurting after the soccer and the next day was age. Well, anyway, I gave up the coffee and it wasn't age. It was the coffee. And I'm one of those people that needs to do the interventional sort of experiment where I took it out and the joint pains went and my football boots fitted me. So I put the coffee back in, and this was Swiss water decaf, by the way. So we're talking about the roasting process for the coffee bean, which is, got its defenses in. And I put the coffee back in and the joint pains came back. And literally it wasn't in my head. That's what happened. I didn't have any affinity with coffee. I didn't have to have it be good for me or bad for me, but that was a fact. So anyway, so it does make a worthwhile difference. There's also other things that can be a problem. So many people have coffee and they also have a lot of cream. So it's a vehicle for too much cream sometimes. So that's a thing. How to get rid of it altogether is find an alternative. So we're talking about the pleasure centers of the brain. So I would always want coffee for certain social situations. Going for coffee is a nice thing. So when we went to Spain, I couldn't do the thing I'm going to tell you about because I didn't have the facilities. So I either had to have coffee or like a sparkling water or something. So I had a couple of coffees out there because I just wanted that social interaction, going for coffee with people. Luckily, I came back and I'm not addicted to it. I'm not missing it because I have a nice thing that I have as a replacement, which I got from Coach Cherish at the Steak and Butter Gang many years ago, called the Fatty Latte, which is 100 milliliters of water, which you boil up, 2 egg yolks, 35 grams of butter, a little bit of salt, a little bit of vanilla extract. I know vanilla isn't carnivore. Whiz that all up, and you have this beautiful, creamy, wonderful tasting hot drink, which has no dairy in it really to speak of. Yes, the butter is dairy, but it's a little bit. And it tastes like a vanilla milkshake. It's beautiful. The egg yolks are great. You've got all the protein. There's no nasties in it. Good little bit of salt, as we mentioned earlier, for electrolytes. And that is such a good replacement for coffee. It's unbelievable. But I think you can only really do that at home, or you can take a flask out. But it's definitely worth doing. I think because of the acrylamides and knowing what I know now, I would definitely have done that much, much sooner.
Yeah, you're convincing me to give coffee giving up another try.
Okay.
I'm gonna try giving up again.
Okay.
Because up until this, I'd given up giving up. But
try the fatty latte. It's a very good alternative. Simple.
Yeah, a lot of it is just kind of habitual or psychological. It's not kind of I need the coffee. It's just the warm drink in my hand.
Yeah, and the social aspect of it. I mean, smokers don't smoke for their health. They know it's bad, but they still do it. And sometimes it's just holding something like that, or that being able to take a puff, when they need to. So same with coffee. What's good about coffee? Well, firstly, it makes you quite sociable. It's a thing, isn't it, going out for coffee? It's a bit like if there was a new ice cream place opened and let's all go for ice cream, and you went down and said, I'll just have a salad, please, and everyone else is going, this is amazing, so it's being part of the group, like you say, sitting there with a hot drink. It's just nice to sip, it's comforting. So the fatty latte does that. It ticks all those boxes.
Yeah, just on this, Frank is saying, I gave up coffee 7 days ago and can't believe how wonderful sleep is now.
Yeah.
Nice
See, that's
work, Frank.
caffeinated. Yeah.
And message from Jonathan. Cheers, Stephen. Today is going to be a Keto Pro BHB pre-workout day. Yawns. Yeah. Oh,
It's not. It's a joke.
Vanilla's made from beaver's buck.
No, it's an orchid, actually. It comes from an orchid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, Bride's
I love that picture. The picture of that guy is amazing.
Hang on, let me bring it back up. Okay, Bride's Biscuit. Is eating extra salmon and sardines a valid strategy to improve overall omega ratios if you're including pork and chicken in your diet?
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's great to get those EPA and DHA into your diet. Omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. You still need omega-6s, but obviously you've got more omega-3s to omega-6s in those foods. Definitely, I think that's a good idea. Pork is wonderful. I've had the best pork I've ever had actually last week in Malaga, which is amazing. But that was acorn fed and pasture raised pigs, and they like their pork over there. And again, with chicken, if it's pasture raised and it's eating the bugs, chicken can be absolutely amazing. If you've got chickens that are genuinely wild, the meat is completely different. It's not that white putrid meat. It's a bit darker. It's a bit like the leg meat of chicken, even from supermarkets, is a little bit darker. Well, if you raise a chicken properly, then all of that meat is that dark. So yeah, you can include pork and chicken in your diet, which I definitely do. And I also eat salmon. I'm not overly keen on sardines. And yeah, I think it's a good strategy.
So with your salmon, you were talking about you had salmon before as a leftover. Do you always have like wild caught salmon?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. If someone had the option of no salmon versus farm salmon, would you say no salmon is a better option?
Yeah, well, it depends. I'd have to see where the salmon comes from. More often than not, the salmon would probably be better than none, but that wouldn't hold true all the time.
Okay.
It's very difficult.
Depends on the conditions.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. Did I have another question? Oh no, that was the one.
I don't know.
Let me see. Oh, okay. From Earl. How is the documentary Meet Your Maker coming along?
It's coming along fine. We're in the editing stage. We've been all around the world. We did. I can't say too much. I've just realised because it's not released yet. But yes, it's coming on fine.
Oh, nice. And you don't have a date? No.
No, but I will be next year.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, from Julie T. How can we answer to claims that everything in moderation is the best way to eat? Greetings from Italy. I'm so grateful for your answers and explanations. Thank you.
Okay. I always like sometimes to use silly examples. So I'm going to go and rush out to a cow now and say, stop eating all that grass. Can you stop eating every day you eat grass? Can you try a steak? Right. Isn't that ridiculous? So then I'll go over to the lion enclosure. Can you stop eating all that meat? Can you stop doing that and eat some grass? Doesn't make any sense, does it? So when we look in nature, animals eat what is speciously appropriate, species appropriate to them. Squirrels. You don't say to the squirrels, look, I've got a cheesecake for you. Leave the nuts. It's so ridiculous. So eat what we're meant to eat, what you feel fine on. We would not have out of season any fruit and veg. So everything in moderation. You could say, well, does that include strawberries? Okay, yeah. Well, so you mean I shouldn't eat them in January or February or March or April or May? And they go, what are you talking about? Well, you know, if we're going to be what is natural, they wouldn't be naturally available to me. So I should never eat a banana. I live in the UK. I'd never touch a banana. And you know, the moderation thing is ridiculous, isn't it? Richard Smith does a great thing about oxalates in food. You know, if you've got a poison in a food, even if it's low level, would you take that poison knowingly? Right. So we're told fruit and veg is great, but there are anti-nutrients in there. I don't want a small amount of poison. You know, if he does this great thing where he says, like, you know, if this whole glass was poison, right, would you drink it? Well, no, not at all. What about a little moderation of poison, a little tiny bit, and I put all these wonderful other things in there? Would you still drink it? Well, no, because there's a tiny little bit of poison in there. I don't want that. So moderation is ridiculous because you're moderating the amount of poison in there. I wouldn't. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you moderate? Why would you moderate something that is really good for you?
I think the words moderation and balance are vague get out of jail free cards for experts to, you know, not be responsible for the advice they've given.
Yes.
Because define balance or define moderation. You know, what's too much moderation? What's too little? It makes no sense. Yeah. Okay, Jonathan, I vape for distraction purposes. There's worse things to do, I guess. As we always say, we are chasing health, not ideological semantics. Oh, I think maybe I've come in the middle of a conversation there. Whoops. Okay. Yeah. Yes, we got a question here. Here we go. From Steve Foster. To keep up vitamin D levels, can we rely on diet or should we use tanning beds or pills?
Right. Vitamin D. I mean, the jury's out on everything here, I think, with vitamin D. The more you get into this, the more interesting it becomes and the more confusing it becomes. I think humans should be out in the sun as much as possible. So again, you know, Lee Copus does great videos and he said, we should be outside. That's it. I shouldn't be in front of this camera right now. This is what humans do. Being outside is really natural. And therefore, your body moderates and regulates how much vitamin D you produce. And the reason I started with that answer is because there are some people that are against vitamin D supplementation because you are artificially inducing vitamin D or ingesting vitamin D into your body, and there's no rate limiting step. Your body is not able to limit that and give you the right level, which I get that way of thinking, absolutely. But I also would say I don't get out enough. So exactly as Jonathan has just put in, I want to get my vitamin D levels up to what would be appropriate. And I spend way too much, you know, time indoors, way too much time indoors. So seasonally, I would be out more when it's hot and I would be indoors more when it's cold or wintry, but I extend those things. So I think supplementing with vitamin D is not a bad thing to do for me personally because of my lifestyle. Because if we're trying to be sort of species appropriate, then we're not doing things that are species appropriate. A Zoom call is not species appropriate. Being on YouTube all the time is not species appropriate. So sometimes we have to do a bridge to get us back to where we would have been. So I'm not anti vitamin D supplementation, but I totally understand why people are against it. Totally. And also, where do you get your vitamin D supplements from? Well, I experimented last year with fermented cod liver oil. I experimented with, from British Supplements, vitamin D supplementation from there. And I did my bloods every time, and also with no supplementation. And with no supplementation, even though I do go out in the morning and I do get some sunlight, my vitamin D levels were very low when I did the cod liver oil. Like for like with the tablet, you know, alleged sort of same dosage with the vegetable oil, cod liver oil, it was okay. And with the supplement, it went much higher. But what does that mean? Because that's what's in my blood. not what's in my tissue, not what's being used. You know, vitamin D really is more of a hormone. And then you've got other people saying that the recommended daily levels are possibly 9,000 times lower than they should be. You know, so I think it's not an exact science. You know, we've got Andrew Scarborough coming in. I think this is true of people with lighter skin as well, about being seasonally appropriate. Andrew's fantastic as well. You got some great viewers today. This is fantastic. You should invite them all in, I think. But anyway, Andrew, if you don't know Andrew Scarborough's story, he's amazing too. And it's incredible that we are on this planet doing all this nutrition science in inverted commas, and we don't really get it yet, what vitamin D does, how much we need, because when you look at the synthesis of vitamin D from sunlight via your skin, there are so many different routes and different sort of variations. I don't want to get too into the weeds here, but there are many different compounds that are made, and not just vitamin D. And we can even see things like wheat germ agglutinin, if you're eating bread, changing vitamin D to be very detrimental. There's loads. So as Philip is saying, vitamin I don't know. Because the problem is, and as I alluded to earlier with the Global Energy Balance Network, you know, which science is absolutely compromised. And you have to look at who's funding the studies and what are they trying to get out of it, and what is the rationale, what are they trying to say. It doesn't seem much science nowadays is about, we want to know. So let's be open-minded and then let's report what we observe. I don't think that happens enough. So I reckon I would do okay with no supplementation. And this is such a rubbish answer, but my gut feeling is that supplementation of vitamin D3 for me is something I would possibly get some benefit from. I cannot prove that at all, and I don't think there's any convincing science one way or the other.
But yeah, the best thing is to get out in the sun. But yeah,
I think that's it. In the end, nothing beats your natural production. I suppose long-winded way of saying exactly what I just said in a short way is, get out in the sun as much as possible. And don't worry, if it's a grey day, you're still going to get some vitamin D synthesis. But you have to have enough fat. You have to have enough cholesterol to do that.
So yeah, and you know, as you say, it's one of these things where you've got to kind of get out of the studio, get off YouTube and all that kind of thing. They actually get out into nature, right?
Yeah, after you've watched this. Not now.
Yeah. Not now. So Jonathan, thank you for the super chat. Stephen's made leaps in education and knowledge.
Thank you.
What was that little emoji at the? I'm not sure. Is that cheese? I'm not sure.
No, there's half an emoji. So maybe you're saying I'm only halfway there. I don't know. Or maybe it's been cut off by StreamYard. Oh, it's a salute. It's a salute. Okay.
Nice. Yeah, I'm getting old. I can't tell what the emojis are unless it's really, really clear. Like if it's just a smiley face, I'm like, oh yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. Longest way up and shortest way down, isn't it? That's what they say about the salute.
Okay.
Anyway, right.
Cool. Okay. Have we got any more questions here?
You've got some new members. I think in your channel.
Yeah. Finnish Yeti, thank you very much for joining. And also Catherine Hawkins, thank you. Very kind of you. Yeah, okay. Was that? So RS Outdoors have lost 17 kilos over 9 months, reverse arthritis in hand, and also cured my diverticulitis I've suffered from since my early teenage years. What's happening with my language? Struggle to stop drinking milk, though, now and again. Nice work. That's awesome. 17 kilos down in 9 months. That's awesome,
That's
Nicole.
amazing, isn't it? I mean, that's
Mm.
what, over £35 quite easily. Nearly £40 for people that speak in pounds. 9 months, that's really good. Reversed arthritis in your hand. But the thing is, these are the things, going back to what I said about that BBC thing, that these doctors, that we're not allowed to know who these doctors are going to be that are going to comment on the content, they ignore these things. Now, one person's story is an anecdote. Two, 1,500 is not an anecdote anymore. That's data. That's proper data. It's epidemiology, isn't it? It's basically observable, and you can say there's an association. But people that watch Dave Mack's thing, follow the carnivore way of eating or low carb, 1,500 people over 3 years have all seen resolution of many, many things. Right. Well, that's sort of data, isn't it? So that's a really good story. I haven't forgotten that last subject there where you said I've struggled to stop drinking milk though now and again. You sound like you're thriving at the moment. So why would you be taking the milk out? Now, I understand there are many people that don't like you drinking milk, and there are many people that think it's good. So if we name check someone who we don't talk about enough, which is Harry Sopanos, he's always talking about pastoral genes, that some people seem to have this propensity to do well with dairy because their ancestors did well on dairy. So if you look at the study Pottinger's cats, for instance, which shows that generations of diet has effects on the offspring and their offspring and their offspring. Well, there's some truth in that. Maybe your ancestors come from that environment where they did do well on dairy, and it's working for you, and it's one of those things where you will get people like Ken Berry saying we shouldn't really drink the milk from another species. It's a promoting growth and all that, which is true. Milk does promote growth, and there are foreign proteins, but we can't deny that some people epigenetically are doing well with it because they seem to do well with it. I don't think I do well with dairy. Absolutely. I think the casomorphines make it a little bit addictive for me, so I can't have a little tub of yogurt. I'd have to, if I had one, but there were 3 in the fridge, I really enjoyed it, I'd have all 4. So I struggle with the overconsumption of something. So going back to what we were talking about earlier, about the excitation of the nerves, wow, don't stop drinking milk when you're doing so well, I think, or do the experiment and actually take it out and be really rigid and say, instead of falling into it, tell yourself you're going to be a scientist and you're going to treat yourself as an N equals 1. And I've got to be strict to make the experiment work. Just stop for a bit and use a little bit of willpower and see you get better. And make that. Sorry, my hearing aids have just cut out for some reason. And then you can make the decision based on your own experience of you not having milk and having milk. But anyway, I wouldn't worry much.
Yeah. Well, we got through all the questions today. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us, for your comments in the chat, for your questions and your discussions. We really appreciate you doing this and joining us. And we will probably do another one of these in a couple of weeks. And we look forward to chatting to you again. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you very much, Coach Stephen.
That's fine. Jonathan, do send the message to explain shortly, because he said something. I'll explain in the message shortly. Don't forget to do it, Jonathan. I'm interested. All right. But yes, thank you everyone else for all your questions. We do it every 2 weeks, don't we? But I've had so many people ask if we can do this weekly. But I'd be up for that. I don't know about you, Dave.
Yeah, definitely. Friday is a good day for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.